2,800%. 2,800%. Bro, what? This is nuts. I'm not gonna lie. This was a crazy day, and I'm glad to have woken up late. If I wouldn't woken up late, man, I would have missed out on so many gains. But anyway, it's your boy OK Bet, man. Y'all know what's going on. Call swings, absolutely paid. I'm so disgusted with myself for not swinging a full position. I only had the runners that I scaled into yesterday. Remember, I kept saying I was telling y'all I was rolling out into calls. So we got the 756s and then the 762s that we ended up selling, but we held a couple of them. So I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. So much money was left on the table, but still had a crazy day. 100% from the field, of course. Come on, man. Y'all know what we got going on. 100% from the field. Every trade played out. Even the lottos. This is my SPX lotto. Boom, posted that. A couple minutes later, ended up going to 300%. SPX put sort of in the day. But anyway, let's talk about this pump. Let's talk about how we, previously talked about being bulls, right? And then just not panicking, right? Sticking with the trend, letting the trend be your friend. And let's get into it. So of course we want to start with the higher time frames. Let's zoom out. All right, remember we talked about this. You call it a wedge, you can call it a bull flag, whatever you want to call it, but it was consolidating, right? And we knew consolidation leads to, what do we say? Expansion, right? Whether it be upside, downside. Don't matter. It's just expansion, right? So we've been consolidating for long enough. Boom, came all the way down to our 730 support. Already talked about that. Remember we said anything above 740, we gotta look to upside. Once we cleared 750, more upside. So of course yesterday we had a nice little pump. We didn't get the pullback that I thought we might get. It just gapped up and went, which is okay with me. It's like I said, we just had a crazy day. But there really wasn't much pullback. But we've seen this before, right? Go back in time. Remember when this rally started? All right, you just kept going. You did get pullbacks, right? But they were very minute sometimes. Sometimes they were small. Sometimes you had, a few days to kind of get yourself in line. But for the most part, this thing just ripped, right? So if we're gonna continue that, don't try to time tops. I saw a lot of people lose money, trying to play puts. But you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to time a top. You don't have to feel like, we just remember we have no control over this, right? We have zero control, no control. If this thing's gonna go up, it's gonna go up, gang. If it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down. So we can't, we can't just panic and be like, oh man, it's going up, it won't come down. So then every red candle, you try to short it, right? We've seen that situation burn people so many times, right? But you got to remember as well, like think about how many people are going short, right? And every time they get liquidated out of their position, or not liquidated, but anytime they get screwed, they have to buy out of their position. So they're trying to go short, squeezes them higher. It's causing like a short squeeze almost. You feel me? So if it's not going any lower, we can't time the top, right? We're in uncharted territory. We're in price discovery mode, and we talked about this. Consolidation leads to expansion. So it's only day 2, really. You could say day 3, but it's really only day 2 of the expansion because, well, I guess you can honestly say day 1 because we closed out of it yesterday, and it's the first day outside of it. So did swing a few calls. I know AMD did miss earnings, so it did get a nice little gap down, but it didn't really seem to affect SPY much. Yeah, 8% down, so $40 down. But as we know, anything can happen overnight when it comes to earnings and markets and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I mean, you can't, I'm not a trend fighter. Like I said, I'm always gonna be a bull. It's easier to trade. Like I said, I mentioned this 2 days ago. It's easier to trade when the market's just going up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to overanalyze the chop. I'm hoping we get some of these, right? I'm hoping we get like 1, 2, 3, maybe like a week straight of just, you know what I'm saying? Because then we can just capitalize. All we're doing is buying calls, right? Let's see if we get a gap and go. First sign of support, right? I'm in those calls yesterday. First sign of support, I'm in those calls. So if I can just keep rolling, swinging, we play bullishness until it don't work no more, right? Which is basically what we did all the way up here, So as far as levels, though, this is where it's going to get kind of interesting. So of course we're going to have psychological level 770, and then 768. If it were to come down to like, I say 765 to like 763, I would buy in this zone, right? If it did come down there. Not to say that it will, obviously, I don't know. It could go up a lot higher first, right? I'm actually looking forward to, possibly going higher. Remember we talked about the megaphone on the video yesterday. Hold on. Little flag popped in today. And we got the little puts. All right, so zoom out. All right, let's zoom out real quick. We had this little megaphone top as well. So the same way we played the megaphone over here, right? Boom, broke out, retest. We talked about it. So if it's the same thing, right, it'll break out above and we'll continue to go higher. Now, if it's going to be resistance, right, even if we gap up, if we get back below this trend line, roughly, previous day's high, previous day's close, remember, always use those levels. Whether we gap up, gap down, don't matter. Always kind of know where that is because that'll be key tomorrow. So today's high and today's close, we'll use them tomorrow. So it will be referenced as previous day's high, previous day's close. So we'll go off that. Yeah, man, this is nuts. This is crazy. This is nuts, man. Yeah, this is one of them ones where it's just like you just gotta, hold and just, hold as long as you can, right? And I mean, there literally was no red candles, bro, in the 30-minute, like the whole day, till obviously to the end. But bro, this was nuts, bro. Yeah, so I'm still watching these upper channel, right? We've been watching this for a while, right? Remember we talked about top-down analysis, talked about traps, how those play out. All right, so if this is a trap, then remember it trapped everybody along this channel. All right, so as long as we're in here, we're gonna remain bullish, right? And we've been squeezing out of here, so we're already above the 50% mark. So either we do, like I said, we continue to push and then pull back around 780, right, and then push up, like I said, even a little higher, or we get that pullback first, and that's why I said I'd be kind of watching anywhere between that, right? And then we still have, of course, original all-time highs. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't stress it. Yes, we are at all-time highs, but this is another reason why I tell y'all to leave on your extended hours, right? Leave on your extended hours because you will need these levels, right? Let's say today, boom, we'll have to use this, all right? We'll have to use this. What is that? Roughly 70-71, roughly. Right, obviously psychological 770, 768, and then a little piece down here between 763 and 765. Now, again, you're gonna have to watch the volume. You're gonna have to watch, price action. Don't just because it comes down here just be like, oh, it has to buy, right? Because remember, this is our first test of everything, right? We're not really established enough to know if these levels are as strong as we think, right? We only had one day. It's not confirmation yet. So we will have to zoom out. You'll have to wait higher time frames, 15-minute, 30-minute, whatever. Because this could just be like grabbing some liquidity and then it just, we've seen it happen before, right? Nothing really can surprise us in this market. So, just don't try to call the top, but at the same time, don't just be like, oh, we finally identically blocked. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, this is, it's just weird price action, but it is what it is. You can still bank on it, right? It's still good PA. Even here, we got in some more down here, all right, we got in some more up here, and we just kind of held all day, right? All the dips, we kind of just bought them, break out, retest, kind of break out, retest. So, and then another thing too, we were looking at the shout out my boy Banks and the ITM community. We're looking at the gamma levels too. So the gamma levels kind of showed us, that we did have a lot of magnetism towards that 670 level. I mean, my fault, 770 level. So going into tomorrow, I have tomorrow's expirations on here. Let me see. Yeah, I got tomorrow's expiration. We can add the rest of the week if you'd like. But going into tomorrow, of course, we have that 770. And, it's basically the same levels I was saying. 764, kind of roughly down to that 763. And then, of course, 760. Round, beautiful number. But that's the whole week. So just tomorrow, we only have... Well, not only have, but the main thing to watch will still be that 770, I believe. Yeah. See 770. So below that, right, you have 769. You get below those, breakdown retest, right? Breakdown retest, you go lower. Next level around that 674. You know what I'm saying? So basically everything I just said, right? So the gamma levels kind of add up to it. So in here, you can use this zone, see how you react. And then, like I said, yesterday's high. And then we'll change those colors. We'll put previous day's high. PDH, and then we'll copy that. Previous day's close, bang. So we can basically get rid of this. Would be the same level. previous day's close. Bang. So there's your levels, right? Above, if we just gap and go and hold this, 780. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let it do its thing, right? But if not, and it just starts to fall below, kind of hold below here, lower highs, all that good stuff. Watch for that kind of, 768 be confirmation below that, and then this would be where I'd kind of look for some sort of dip buy, whether it be instantaneous, right? Whether it be inverse head and shoulder, 30-minute hour, whatever the case may be, right? This would be my first level to where I'm like, all right, we're gonna buy this thing pretty heavy. If not, obviously we come back down, retest previous days or previous all-time high, my fault. That same 758, 760 level. And it's basically the same levels that brought us up here. We watch the same levels down. All right. So this don't hold. This don't hold. Right. Ooh, that was terrible. My fault. I was absolutely garbage drawing. Jeez Louise. But you feel what I'm saying? So, you have your levels to watch. And like I said, it's going to be harder with just a gap and go. But what can you say? We can't control this. But, hey, if they want to keep paying us with calls, we're going to keep buying them. We're going to keep swinging them. Absolutely. So, of course, if y'all want to find me, hit me on Instagram at OKBet, OKBET. You know what I'm saying? The one and only OKBet. But, no, I'm just messing with y'all. But everything else in the description, Discord, all that good stuff. Yeah, and like I said, man, shout out my boy Banks, man, over at the ITM family. Y'all go tap in with them boys, man. Get me right with the gamma and stuff like that. I'm still, it's another tool, put it in the arsenal and shit like that. But you see how that 725 magnet or that node's already kind of lit up. So that's what I'm saying. If we do gap up, 775, you don't want to just blindly buy. But if we do get a dip and hold that 770, we can buy from that, right? Or if not, then that might be just the top for the day, right? So don't trip, don't stress it, right? Remember, it's as simple as you make it. You complicate it, it will be complicated. If you don't, then it won't. You know what I'm saying? So keep God first, man, and be patient. Very, very patient. I know this is damn near worse than missing this, damn near worse than getting caught in chop. I ain't gonna lie. Because you get caught in chop, it's okay. There was no opportunity, it just was on me. But this is nuts, bro. Bro, this is crazy. Like, this is like $50 in a 10 grand type of days right here. 2 days back to back, that's 50 racks to be out here. Whatever Lil Durk say. But anyway, man, like I said, I see y'all boys. Be safe, be easy. Don't go green and red. That's another thing. Don't go green and red. If you've had amazing 2 days, size down tomorrow. Maybe half size, quarter size, whatever, But you just don't want to think just because the market's been good to us for 2 days, then a third day is coming. Now it might, and I hope it does. Keep it simple on us, please. But you never know, right? Tomorrow might be a day where we've moved up $30 in 3 days. Tomorrow might be a day where it just does a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. So don't oversize just because, we made some good bread. Don't do that. So be patient, stick with it. Peace out. See y'all boys. Peace.